My name is Stephanie, and it's totally my pleasure to be here on the Mystery Channel and doing this with Erin. I'm just here kind of today in my home dance studio to talk a little bit about what movement has done for me. I know it sounds really broad to just say, like, what has movement done for you? I've been pole dancing for the last 2.5 years, and it's been something that has been an incredible journey for me. I was a gymnast in my younger years in high school, and I've dabbled in different sorts of things like that throughout my adult life, trampoline class here or there, or whatever. And then I landed in a pole dance class, and I was just kind of opened to this whole new world of expression and dance and art and creativity and accomplishment and connection and community, just that I really never had before. It was really exciting to be part of that, and I've made amazing friends through that and developed incredible connection. One of which is actually a friend of mine, Sarah. She moved out to Seattle about 1.5 years ago and was home this most recent Christmas and mentioned a workshop she was going to be attending. It was a weekend-long workshop run by one of our commonly favorite pole personalities in the world, is Tracy Kafer. Somebody we both looked up to a lot in terms of freestyling and creativity, and just she moves in a beautiful way. And it was she was telling me about this workshop she was going to attend that Tracy was leading about freestyling, and I'm like, oh, that sounds so cool, how fun, like, have a great time, you know. And she was telling me when it was, and she's like, I think there's a spot open. I don't have any idea if that's workable for you or whatever. And so I looked into it more, and lo and behold, I had the weekend off. The stars kind of aligned. I bought a plane ticket. I had the last spot in that intensive, and I went, and I'm like, cool, I'm going to learn more about freestyling. And I got there, and yeah, I did learn about freestyling and a whole lot more. It blew me away. In my life, just kind of in general, I think a lot of us have dealt with different types of hardship and trauma and things that have been difficult. For me, I've dealt with that in lots of places in my life, and unfortunately, the result of that has been me kind of freezing up in these moments of stress and these moments of fear and trauma, like these like trauma activation, like feeling that, like, oh crap, that's coming up for me again, and these old things, you know. They talk about fight or flight. Some people, when they're faced with, you know, trauma or their difficulties, they want to fight it out. They want to run the fuck away. I don't know if you can swear in this channel, but I just did. Regardless, they do one or the other. Well, for me, like, I don't do either. I freeze. I can't move. I feel literally like I am in a jello pit, and it's like completely takes all the effort in my body and mind and soul to move physically. I just get really paralyzed by and overwhelmed by the experience of that, you know, trauma activation. And so when I'm going through those things, it's very difficult for me to move. And I've been going through that on and off the last 5 years. It began with the loss of my first husband, followed by the loss of my mom and my dad. They have been out of my mom's been out of my life, and my dad, he passed away a year ago. And so that has been something I've been wrestling with, is dealing with grief and managing that and feeling frozen so much. It's taken me out of the things I love. It's taken me out of dancing. It's taken me, you know, literally I have dropped out of sessions of dance because I just can't get myself to move. I literally cannot get off the couch and go dance. Even though I want to, and I know it's going to feel amazing, like I cannot. And so I've been trying to find a way to like express what that freestyle intensive did for me. But the most prominent, the most like spectacularly amazing things that it did for me was to help me break through that, and that has been unbelievably powerful. And that weekend, the intensive, when I got there, I kind of I was like, yay, we're gonna learn how to freestyle, get better at that. It's something I really wanted to work on. I didn't realize the route that we were gonna get there, and it was all about emotional growth, emotional tapping into that crap that you maybe don't want to deal with, and being vulnerable in front of people you don't necessarily know. It was very powerful because there was one point where we were all just sitting around in a circle talking about, you know, what was kind of going on with us at that point in time, and what we were experiencing in our lives. And every single person, 16 of us in a circle, felt like we were alone. That we were having these individual, unique experiences of loneliness, and feeling like we were the only ones, feeling like we weren't good enough, and feeling like we were the only ones thinking we weren't good enough. It was amazing to see, like, holy crap, even though I'm dealing with my own issue that might be completely different from what, you know, this other person is dealing with, the same fundamental feelings of not being good enough or being alone in that was so real, and it was just connecting, and it was like, holy crap, we all feel alone, but look it, there's 16 of us feeling like we're alone. We aren't. We are not alone in that. That was super powerful. And to that, we went through these exercises through designed to kind of help us tap into what we need to get out. I keep saying we one exercise that we did was Tracy had placed circles on the floor, and they were in different areas. One by a pole, one by a wall, one in the middle of nowhere. Half of us witnessed, half of us danced. And we were to pick a place to start and to look at that message that was written on that circle and let it bring up for us whatever it was going to bring up. And I randomly picked a circle, went and sat down by the wall. She played the music. I looked down and I saw my circle said, "I am alone." I was like, oh, that one, yeah, instantly frozen. Like, oh crap. How, okay, I came here to dance and now I'm frozen and I can't move. I literally sat by the wall like this for the first minute and a half of the song that was played, thinking about how paralyzed I was and how the hell I was going to move out of this place. And I just kind of started rocking back and forth a little bit, and I started swaying a little bit and just kind of letting a little bit at a time, just kind of loosening each little muscle a little bit at a time, and just saying like, okay, maybe I'm not up twirling around, creating all these wonderful, amazing shapes and expressing all this stuff. But for me, someone who can't move when they're in a really emotional place, it was powerful to even be able to rock back and forth, and that just evolved into suddenly I was swaying, and suddenly I was ready to crawl, suddenly I was ready to stand up, and the next thing I knew I was dancing. I went from completely incapacitated movement-wise, there was no movement happening. I didn't even know how to begin moving in any sort of creative, expressive way. And it all was just born out of like rocking simply back and forth, and I grew into this place where I was able to stand up, move, dance, express, cry my head off. It was absolutely powerful. It's something that since I've come back from this weekend and experiencing this, that I've been able to recapture that. Sadly, not as intensely because it was such an amazing experience at the time, but in little ways, like I've been able to employ that in myself and in my practice, in my dance. I freestyle like I've never done before. I can actually freestyle through a whole song, dance without having it planned out and just kind of going with the movement, letting it take me where it's going to take me. And that is so powerful because I've never been able to do that. The other thing from that weekend was leaving and feeling this heart, like being able to move, it almost like kind of like loosened up some junk, and it just like my heart chakra just opened. Like it was like physically just like, whew. I felt so much love, and I felt able to just express and give and receive just what I had to offer and people had to offer me throughout that whole weekend. I left with just this expansive feeling of like, wow, there is so much love. There's so much love in the world. There's so much love around you. You just kind of need to look for it. And for me, it meant not being so invested in being alone, not being so invested in feeling sad. Instead, investing that energy in wanting to be creative and moving, and letting that energy move through me so that I can be and do the things that make me feel good. It was the most precious thing I could have ever done. And to think that it was one of those things I just, spur of the moment, yeah, I'm going to go learn how to freestyle, cool, great. I'm going to dance with my friend Sarah, awesome. And it turned out to be that and so much more. So I'm just, thank you for listening to my ramblings about dance and movement, but it's been a powerful, amazing thing. I want to share that. I want to be able to tell other people, kind of find that place, which is kind of like my little next mission, maybe in some way that I'll be able to do that, to help bring that kind of freedom to people through movement. And I'm excited about that. I don't know what that's going to look like necessarily, but my heart chakra is wide open, and I'm ready. I'm ready for what is out there and what's next. And I'm going to keep moving and keep dancing even when it's hard, because that has been my source of joy and healing, and in ways that I could never have anticipated. So that's my little spiel.